Zlatan Ibrahimovic has retired. Actually, I've got that wrong. Football has retired from Zlatan. Is actually what's happened.
Right.
Zlatan is going to spend more time with his avocados.
Avocado farm. Avocado farm.
Shout out Ted Lasso.
I'm telling you, I binged it over the last 3-4 days. And when Zava came on, I was like, as soon as he walked in, I was like, that's Zlatan. It's gotta be. Zlatan. It's gotta be Zlatan.
You mean Zlatan is him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, X, you had a great idea for a little Zlatan tribute. What's our favorite Zlatan Ibrahimovic moment? You want to kick us off, X?
There's so many. If I have like a Zlatan moment, it's when my man, when he was playing Italian football, my man stepped on his cleat just on accident. He was walking by him and stepped on his cleat, and my man just judo chops him right in the neck. Just no BS. Zlatan Zidane ain't got nothing on me. Like, it just judo chops my man just for stepping on his cleat. No shove.
Doesn't say a word.
Doesn't say a word. He just looks at him and just, bah! That's a Zlatan moment.
Oh
but one of my favorite footballing moments is one of the it's not a goal, and you'll see it sometimes passed on in clips about Zlatan and, like, you know, his highlight reel and everything. But when it was, again, back when Zlatan was in his prime, I'd always attribute it back to his Italian football. Like, I think he hit his prime in Serie A. When him and Maldini came across each other, when it was Inter Milan derby, and he goes up against one of the, you know, up-and-coming rising star, will forever be a legend, you know, in today's time. But back then, you know, he's still making that name up against an absolute legend of the game. And you see him give Maldini a run for his money. You see the respect being paid between both those players. You know, it's just one of those games where you see an old school great, you know, kind of tip his hat to, you know, one of the young guns that are coming up in the game. And even though it was a Milan-Inter battle, there was still this mutual respect being had in that game between those two players who were both warriors, battled it out, gave each other a physical battle. But there wasn't that disrespect moment where we, like, you know, Zlatan can get ahead of himself. He can get disrespectful. And Maldini would kind of do the same thing. He'd just brute you off of it, laugh at you, and call you a pansy and move on. And it was just one of those games where you saw, okay, this is a legend. This, you know, an all-time great. This is one of those ones who has that potential, and he lived up to it. You know, he did it in every league. And that's where he kind of got his heart and his start. And it's one of those attributed moments that I think he himself can look back on, and going up against somebody like that who's phasing out and kind of, like I said, tipping his hat to him at the end of that one.
Yep, absolutely. What do you think, Patrick?
So first off, if y'all are watching the podcast, you saw some facial expressions. I'm watching the Zlatan Ibrahimovic most badass moments on YouTube, and I'm telling you, there's some already where like, my goodness. So I will go with two, actually, because one I'm selfish about. For me personally, my favorite Zlatan moment was actually seeing him score a goal in person. He scored against Chelsea in the PSG Chelsea match in Charlotte. And when he scored, he just looked back at the fans and raised his hands, like arms like this, like, yeah, I'm that guy. And everybody was just, I mean, you're just like, yeah, he is that guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
that guy.
just in general, you just watch him and you're just like, man, this guy he's another level. And you know, the thing is we talk about, especially in sports, you know, people either being, you know, they're having mental health issues because of the pressure, or, you know, their mental health's at risk and whatnot because of fans in general. And Zlatan is totally different. Like, Zlatan's like, no, I don't care what you say about me. You know, I know how awesome I am, and you're going to hear about it. So that said, non-personal favorite moment has got to be the bicycle kick during World Cup qualifying for Sweden. It was ridiculous. I want to say he scored 2 goals in that game.
He did score another goal.
Yeah, they that's what ended up getting them qualified, if I remember right. He was ridiculous, and it was a one-man show. I mean, really, it really was. And he
that entire yes. That entire
Right.
team, his entire international career has been a one man.
Don't be
I don't know
leaving my
about
man Freddie Ljungberg out in the cold now. Come on now. They were contemporaries.
He played for Barca. He played for Milan. He played for Inter. He played for United. Ugh.
Just United.
I mean, he's played, and of course he's played for LAFC, which he's got an amazing moment there too.
Yeah.
You know, he's just he's not a one-man team, but he is the guy. Like, you know, we talk about Messi being the GOAT and all that, and there's reasons for that. And he'll never reach that status because he never really put himself in that position to do that. He had
his own mind.
Brilliance.
Right.
He thinks he's that.
Of course he does. But I mean, in terms of the overall view of him, like
Lewis said it best. And Lewis said it best. He said strikers are egotistical. They play with their ego. Zlatan is the embodiment.
He lives his ego.
That. Yeah, he is the embodiment of that mentality. Like, I just
saw the one about LeBron.
Oh, that's coming up. That's my favorite one. What do you say, Lewis? What do you think?
You know, it's weird because I mean, I watched him. He has so many highlights, like of just goals. I mean, his bag is so insanely deep that you can't pick one. And so I was thinking about the LA one just because I thought, and I'm being honest, I mean, I'm a season ticket holder to an MLS team, but when he came in as a substitute and just destroyed a team out of the blue, and you're like, is this really the Farmers League? This guy just walked in and immediately did it. But I was like, no. The reason I say no to that is because that video I sent to you guys a couple of days ago, when Zlatan was on the field and Jose was his manager and he was tired, and Jose made him stay on the field,
he
and he
subbed everyone else out, and then
and he scored, and then he was like, and then he subbed the referee in. I'm not the referee, the keeper,
the goalie.
You never
subbed the
subbed the
goalkeeper
keeper off, and he subbed the keeper off just so this guy couldn't come off, and it was just Zlatan was like, I scored. I did what I was supposed to do. Why are you not taking me out the game? And so that was funny because Jose was just being Jose. And I can just imagine Zlatan and Jose together, even though, interestingly enough, the next season they sold Zlatan and they won the treble. And so, you know, it's an interesting thing because that's happened in a couple of places with him. And so, but my favorite moment is actually reading some of the news about the humanitarian stuff he does. He's actually a really nice guy.
That's what's up.
And so I think that part about him is really cool. And so I would say that, even though I saw an argument, and then Jake, I'm gonna let you go. There was a tweet that said, "Who's the better striker, Benzema or Zlatan?" I'm gonna give you the numbers they had there, and they have Benzema played 879 games, 445 goals, and 221 assists. Zlatan played 941 games, has 555 goals and 226 assists. And the answer someone said was Benzema's better because he has more trophies. And I'm like, well, I guess Cristiano Ronaldo playing with him and Gareth Bale playing with him doesn't matter. In addition to the fact that Benzema was at Real Madrid. And I'm not taking anything away from Benzema because I think he's an amazing striker. Yeah. But I think that was rough because then I said, based on that logic, that means Robert Lewandowski is better than Zlatan too. And the response was yes, Lewandowski is better than Zlatan too, which I thought was interesting.
That's like saying Kingsley, is it Kingsley Coman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the most decorated person in football or something like that
No,
now?
Danny Alves.
Yeah.
Danny Alves has more trophies.
Coleman's right behind him. Coleman's got like 23 trophies already. He's won everywhere. He's won a trophy everywhere he's gone. He's won the league. He's won shields.
Zlatan played with Messi way back in the day.
True, he did play on the Barca team. But to answer your question, Lewis, math says Benzema's worse either way. Like the math on that's what is that 0.04, 0.05 per goal, and Zlatan's is 6.7.
Yeah.
So if I'm putting you out to score a goal, Zlatan scores more on paper than Benzema does per game.
He assists more than him too.
And assists more.
I think that Zlatan's just got more overall talent too. I mean, I'm watching some of these highlights, and there's one where he was with, I think, maybe Ajax, where he like dribbles
he played
around
for
the whole
Ajax
defense.
too.
Played. He's
It's
Well, I mean,
style.
he's a definition of a merchant, man. Yeah, he will play for whoever pays him, and he'll play good.
But he like dribbles around the whole team and the whole defense, and then I'll have to send it to you. But I mean, it was when he was younger. Maybe it wasn't Ajax. Maybe he was in Sweden. But you look at the overall skill. Oh, he had a bust up with Lukaku too, so that had to have been great.
Yeah.
But he's a difference maker. Like I don't think there'll be another Zlatan. And
definitely from the old guard. Like,
yeah,
it's sad to
most
see him
definitely.
go.
I think I agree. I tend to agree with the statement about his goals, his highlight reel. It's tough to choose. Like, he's top 10 Zlatan, amazing goals, and he's just got an incredible highlight reel. I think I like the LA Galaxy one because everyone was like, oh, he's old. He's come to the retirement league. He's not going to do anything. And Zlatan was like, I own this league. What are you talking about? Comes in and 14 seconds into his MLS career, rips one from 45 yards out. But I have two moments that are my favorite Zlatan moments. And one was way back in the day. I remember him juggling chewing gum on the Joga Bonito videos when it was Zlatan versus Ronaldinho. And it was a juggle off, but they were using chewing gum. Go find that one on YouTube. I remember that's one of the first things I remember about Zlatan. I was like, how do you even say that? Who is this guy? And here he is in a video with Ronaldinho. And then of course, you mentioned it, Patrick, when he did move to Los Angeles, or I don't know when it was, but maybe when LeBron James moved to Los Angeles, he sent Zlatan a jersey, and Zlatan signed it and sent it back to him. That might be the most Zlatan thing that I can think of. Definitely always makes me small.
It will be missed for sure.
Yeah.
I hope he's a pundit somewhere. Like, I hope somebody
You can only be so lucky.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be glorious. That would be glorious. I doubt that will ever happen. But
make him field side for Thierry Henry and the crew.
Be incredible. That would be incredible. Anything else on old Zlatan?
Like I said, man, yeah.
I think
he's given us a bunch of good years.
That avocado farm.
He was pure entertainment, and I don't know. I'm unsure if anyone else has sort of
that charisma
moxie to do both, because he was a personality and he was a good player. And if you look at modern players, there's very few who do both together. Personality wise, I struggle to think of any football player that is worth talking to. I'm sure there's some, but they're so low on the radar because we look at the guys who are good, like Messi. Is he a good interview? No. Ronaldo? No. Vinny Jr., no. Benzema, Louis. Maybe Holland is getting there because he curses on TV and he's not supposed to. But he's not there. He's far from that echelon. So, you look at the world's top players, very few of them are interesting, outside of they make a lot of money. And so I think Zlatan was an actual entertainer who was an athlete as well. And that's I'll pause to say it's an old guard thing. I think that he was the unicorn, even though I guess he was a lion according to himself. But
yeah.